नहीं बट भाई को पे नहीं करना है ना।
तो आज दो बेताज बादशाह जो बैठे हैं, आज इनकी इनसाइट्स निकालेंगे हम और पता करेंगे ये दोनों क्या करते हैं इतने सारे पॉइंट्स का।
Stay there for 4 days. They'll give you another boarding pass with the same PNR. 3 days later, 4 days later, 1 week later, it's valid for up to 364 days.
जब तुम बोल रहे थे ना tired versus arriving, I saw Ameya do just that. मतलब I felt like he doesn't agree with you.
Unlike you, he agrees with me.
को जरा पिक्चर अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्त।
If there's a flight that is up to 7-8 hours, I'm not gonna bother with business class.
आदिल के शक्ल पे खुशी है लेकिन उसे गुस्सा आ रहा है। बोले खाना क्यों?
नहीं अमेया बोल रहा है कि फूड इज इंपॉर्टेंट बट यू जस्ट सेड फूड इज नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट। तो ये क्या है? ये तो धर्म संकट है भाई।
देखो हमारे दो को-फाउंडर को, एक है जो सबको बोलते हैं बुक द कुक करो, ये बोल रहा है कि तुम
मैं तो बोल रहा हूं
दाल राइस खाओ।
When you mentioned that Air India security check, Delhi, man, that was a lifesaver. There were like 400 people next to me and I was just looking by them, smiling and walking by. I was like, what a blessing.
Makes sense to actually book a return trip if you're going, and this is a very good sweet spot unlocked for Magnus Burgundy holders.
फ्रेंड्स कॉल मिले कि मेरा पहला फ्लाइट है बिजनेस क्लास का, दिस इज अ गुड एयरक्राफ्ट, नाउ आई एम अज्यूमिंग दे आर आस्किंग अबाउट हार्ड प्रोडक्ट, हाउ डज वन फिगर आउट?
Intra-Europe flights, business class doesn't exist. And you just probably get a glass of juice. I was like, dude, I want my points back, you know. I didn't know it was like that.
Lights flashing bright, we're on the go. Tune in now, there's so much to know. Earning bits, travel dreams we sow. All aboard the great Indian Points and Miles show. 0 to hero in the blink of an eye. Fly first class, no need to be shy. Redemption sweet, touching the sky. Award seats booked, let's give it a try. Award seats booked, let the points flow. It's all aboard the great Indian Points and Miles show. Unlocking journeys wherever you go. The sky's the limit, feel the travel mojo.
Hello and welcome back to another fun episode of the Great Indian Points and Miles Show. This is your host Aadil Bandukwala and super excited to talk to you about all things business class. It's not just about a fancy big seat on a metal tube. There are things beyond that. It starts right from your arrival at the airport. Check in when you go into directly the business class line by skipping the queues. Then on to a fast track immigration, a fast track security in certain places. Eventually, priority boarding. You board first when compared to anybody else. And then there is that enigmatic experience on the sky where you're served gourmet meals, champagne, a lie-flat bed, eventually arriving fresh in style wherever you are at that swanky airport, priority deboarding, priority immigration, and out like a dash with baggage delivery first. Lots to unpack. And like always, I've got my co-founders starting with Dhimant and Ameya. Dhimant, like you've all affectionately known him, आज उनको कुछ अनोखे अंदाज में इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं. Presenting our CCO, Chief Coffee Officer. कैसे हो? क्या पी रहे हो? ये बताओ.
This is hot water, just that's it. Coffee is already done, but I'm just happy I'm not in the middle seat today.
ये क्या है? ये aisle है या ये chief staircase seat है? क्या है ये?
Like I said, I'm just happy I'm not in the middle seat. Like because I'm traveling to Vietnam very soon and I know I'm going to be in between my daughter and my wife. So I just am happy I'm on an aisle seat. Let's call it an aisle.
We talked about CCO. C के बाद आता है D. Meet our Chief Discord Officer, who is the chairperson of the Great Indian Lounge. Ameya, क्या हाल है?
All good, all good, all good. This is the middle seat, I guess?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I have to be worried about your arm hitting me now.
And with that, we've got a fascinating guest today. He's been a friend of the show. He's attended our flight mode meetups. He's attended our informal meetups much before the show was even born. We've known him for a while. Adarniya Dhimant ji was able to get him quickly on the show, like
acquire
always.
the rights to get him.
Acquire the rights. And we have his digital rights now. No royalties, Sid. But with that, very happy to introduce Sid. Sid's persona is that he comes from he's a third generation entrepreneur, along with the family business, which is into industrial and automotive components for defense. He also is a practicing finance guy. He partners with an AIF fund, does private equity, and a whole lot of stuff on the side. On the points and miles side, he's like one of us, where he enjoys the perks of statuses, cards, and puts them into practice every day. Along that, he's been an athlete all his life, loves football, and then loves spending time and traveling, more importantly, with his lovely young daughters. Siddharth, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here, as always. I'm going to use this intro. Anyone, anytime asks me for an intro, I'm just going to send them this. That was awesome.
By the way, I'll tell you one very interesting thing about Sid, right? Sid जब मुझे message या call करता है, right? Whenever he messages me, like, hey, how are you? तो मैं like suddenly get into that reserve and burgundy private mode, क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि Sid जब call करेगा तो it's a super premium card he wants to ask about. So our first discussion ever happened on the reserve card, I am thinking, if I remember well. And then I think the next time he called me was कि यार burgundy private का क्या करना है बताओ. So like for me, I think whenever I get his call or message, like that's what he reminds me
If
of.
I remember right, I think both Dhimant and me got the Burgundy Private at the same time through the same RM, relationship manager. And I wasn't really convinced, but then Dhimant was like, we're getting it, just do it. I was like, and now no looking back. That's one of the best decisions I've ever made. And that's when my journey actually began. To what your main headline on topic for today is, that's when I started experiencing the real true value of business class. And I'm going to say also a much easier way than I suppose for people who don't have that Burgundy Private. So thanks Dhimant for that, man.
There you go. आज आपको पता चलेगा जब दो प्राइवेट शार्क्स बैठेंगे टेबल पे, बर्गंडी प्राइवेट वाले. एक तो हमारा रेजिडेंट है, बट वो रेजिडेंट अभी एक गेस्ट भी एक्वायर करके लाया है. तो आज जो दो बेताज बादशाह जो बैठे हैं, आज इनकी इनसाइट्स निकालेंगे हम और पता करेंगे ये दोनों क्या करते हैं इतने सारे पॉइंट्स का.
ये मैं रिपब्लिक के स्टूडियो में तो नहीं आ गया.
देखो थोड़ा तो देसी तड़का निकालना पड़ेगा ना, स्वाद अनुसार, like they say in some of our episodes. So chalo, I think the intro and the premise is set. Guys, let's get into the thick of things. Let's start with, we know economy, we've hacked economy, but then a lot of us have hacked business as well. And let's start, Dhimant, with you. In your typical framework style, कि business किसको करना चाहिए, क्यों करना चाहिए, इसके फायदे क्या हैं, and then we'll come to Ameya and Sid. I'm sure कुछ तो complicated McKinsey style framework दिमाग में डाल के आए हो आप, तो चलो शुरू करें.
Sid, for my reference, count how many times the F word has been used, not by me but by others.
I'm just saying,
दो बार already हो
guys,
चुका है.
the F word is framework, not the Thailand reference that Dhimant likes to allude to.
So let's put it very simply. Right from, Aadil mentioned it in the introduction, right from check-in experience to your check-out while you're going, not really check-out, when you're exiting the gate, there is a wholehearted experience that comes when you travel business class, right? So if you are one of the person like me who went on his first business class, I feel my wife is still in that journey, right? Because she hasn't experienced too many business class flights. She's like, कि यार एक छोटे से सीट के लिए क्यों इतना पैसा भरना है? So what I want to do is just break down what, if you pay 4x the money or 5x the money that you do, what all is included as perks. I just want to cover that quickly. One is the check-in experience. You have a separate queue. If you're flying on a busy airport, like let's say London or Mumbai, it can be a lifesaver, right? Getting a quick queue, going there, asking whichever seat you want, move your seat. That's a beautiful experience, right? The moment you go to security, there are some crazy busy airports, right? Let's take an example of Delhi airport. If you are at the Delhi airport, there is a separate business class queue for security check-in. Some airports don't have it, but now I think most airports have started having that now, right? So that's the second experience. Third, which is boarding. There is a separate boarding queue, right? Which means that you're getting priority boarding. चलो alliance वालों को फिर भी शायद वो मिल जाता है. If you're a part of that Star Gold or whatever alliance, you will get that. But the moment you go inside, right, you have an option of like really getting into a cramped seat into an economy. While some airlines like Singapore Airlines will give you a slightly bigger space in economy, like you can have the option of a fully lie flat bed, right? And it's something that you'll only appreciate if you travel more than a 5-hour flight, right? And if you are taking a night flight or whatever, you'll appreciate that. Now comes the food part, and now suddenly things change, right? You're talking about a boxed meal, which you're habituated to because you're traveling economy. Suddenly there is a server coming in and asking and taking your order. Like yahan pe, your napkin pada and he's writing your order. And before even you ask for it, they're asking you what you want. And then there is another level, which is like a Qatar or a Singapore business where they'll even come in. It's almost like a restaurant in the sky, right? Then you're like, okay, this is spoiling yourself, right? Also, you'll realize the service levels are far more proactive. Economy में आप बुला रहे हो bell दबा के. Trust me, business lives most of the time don't have to press that bell, right? You're basically like somebody's always running around in the 7-8 seats because the number of seats are lesser. There's always somebody attending to you. If I'm not mistaken, there is a fixed number of seats a attendant manages, right? And they're able to do justice to how many people are there. Proactive service, and who doesn't love proactive service, right? So that's probably one. The last one I would say is when you're getting out, you will probably see your priority baggage coming in. Again, it could happen if you are an alliance member, but generally business class will always get that benefit, right? So apart from that, there are a few quirks that are very unique to certain airlines. Like for example, certain toys or certain ducks or certain bears that people like and they get it in business class.
People like बोल रहे हो जाके खुद पहले तुमने लिया था, अब वो कैसे लिया था वो भी बताओ.
उनका स्टॉक आउट हो रहा है, आप सबको बोल रहे हो जाके बेर लो, स्टॉक आउट हो रहे हैं because of you.
It's called berry.
How many bears do you have now?
Let's continue. आप कहाँ थे, आप खत्म करो चलो.
And one unique quirk which I think I wasn't sure about because I have never experienced a revenue business class on Emirates. They also offer pickups from your house in a chauffeur-driven pickup and a luxury car, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
While I don't understand the concept of why it is only offered to revenue and why not to a miles passenger, but like I'll let Aadil answer that. He's more experienced. But that's the pretty much right. That's what you're paying for. And I personally feel that if you are in a sector where it's like saying that economy mein you are traveling, business mein you are coming out recharged for your meeting, right? That's how the difference is. So for example, I remember going for a very critical meeting to Hong Kong, and by the time I exited, I was not tired, right? So you have to choose and pick when you want to use that business experience.
So abhi let's do something fun. जब तुम बोल रहे थे ना tired versus arriving, I saw Ameya do just that. Matlab, I felt like he doesn't agree with you. Ameya, talk to us about what your views are direct.
मैंने 5x बोला ना प्राइस इसलिए कुछ तो उसका.
Yeah. In fact, on this point, that is probably one point which I'll agree, and I'll tell you, my perspective is this. Especially if you're taking a really long flight, right?
Yeah.
And you may take it for work, in which it matters a lot more.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you get a lie flat bed enables you to time your sleep a lot better, have that extra control. I'm able to land on a, whatever. I mean, I'm able to control my sleep. I'm able to control my schedule. And I don't suffer from jet lag after the long flight. Just that small thing for a long flight, due to, having access to a lie flat is something that makes it worth it for me.
Unlike you, he agrees with me.
So yeah, on this point, I definitely agree with you.
अभी आ रहा है, picture अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्त. Yes, please continue.
Yeah, so the way I will really put it is that if there's a flight that is up to 7-8 hours, I'm not going to bother with business class.
Oh.
Anything longer than that, I'll be like more than happy to say that, it's worth it. I would take that lie flat. I would take that comfortable experience. And just from the angle, man, I mean, if for whatever reason you have an uncomfortable seat, you're not going to be able to sleep well. I mean, for me, the most important things in life are good food and good sleep. I don't like to be compromised on any of those. And it makes a difference.
Are you telling me that if you take a night flight on Singapore Airlines from Bangalore, Bombay to Singapore, it's a 6-hour flight, 5.5 hour flight, right?
Bangalore से 4.5
घंटा
और Bombay से 5 घंटा.
But by your logic, you would not take the business class. But that sleep and that food, you said food and sleep, both are mind blowing, right?
But I mean, I don't think it's worth it, man. Like I think 4.5 hours. I mean, you want the long sleep, especially on the long protracted flights. Right? Like the one I typically take is like the 16-hour flight or something. I'm not going to take that flight without good food.
So this is where I remember our first meeting, Ameya. I don't know if you remember. We met 3 years back. कोई तो बैंगलोर के पब या बार में मिले थे एक मीटअप में एंड आई वॉज वेरी सरप्राइज्ड व्हेन यू सेड माय फेवरेट फ्लाइट इज द एयर इंडिया फ्लाइट डायरेक्ट 16 hours Bangalore San Francisco because you used to go for work on that flight. मैं बोला यार ये एयर इंडिया में क्यों जा रहा है, बट यू ब्रॉट दैट सेम पॉइंट कि देखो डायरेक्ट है, मेरे को बैठना है, मेरे को सोना है, अच्छा खाना खाना है, एंड इट सॉल्व्स दोस थ्री थिंग्स.
And that plane specifically is one of the better ones for sure. But yeah, I mean that's how I like to think about it. Right? Like I don't want to, more often than not, if I don't have a choice, I don't want to get off, take a layover, again get off, get on, get off, get on, spend some time in the lounge, whatever. I prefer 16 hours flight. I'm able to pace it well. I'm able to control my sleep. By the time I alight again, spend that rest of the day and you don't have jet lag, and that time that you save, that energy that you save is, I think, in itself worth it. So the way I look at it is this, that baki perks with respect to boarding experience, this, that, I don't care. Food, mostly I don't care as much, because business class you're going to get good food anyway.
आदिल के शक्ल पे खुशी है लेकिन उसे गुस्सा आ रहा है, बोले खाना का
नहीं अमेया बोल रहा है कि फूड इज इम्पोर्टेंट बट यू जस्ट सेड फूड इज नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट. तो ये क्या है, ये तो धर्म संकट है भाई.
I'll put it slightly differently, man. Like I think with on flights, so I'm not someone who will be like, I need to enjoy the awesome food on flights. I need to have decent food, comfort food. That is important for me. Beyond that, I'm like, okay, like I mean,
एयरलाइंस की भाषा में बात करते हैं ना, सॉफ्ट प्रोडक्ट इज नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट, हार्ड प्रोडक्ट इज इम्पोर्टेंट.
I'm a big fan of I'm a sucker for the Air India food. Okay, the Taj का जो खाना होता है,
which is what I was trying to unpack from you. I'm glad you're bringing that.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's comfort food, man. So I mean, when you're flying, I don't want to be too risky with respect to what I eat. I mean, the worst thing that you want is a bad tummy on your travel. So yeah, I think good.
देखो हमारे दो को फाउंडर को, एक है जो सबको बोलता है बुक द कुक करो, ये बोल रहा है कि तुम
मैं तो बोल रहा हूँ
दाल राइस खाओ.
हम शुरू करेंगे लॉबस्टर थर्मिनल से. And Ameya is like नहीं Indian खाना देसी खाना.
He's telling people कि तुम जाओगे तो लॉबस्टर ऑर्डर करो, सैटे ऑर्डर मत करना. ये बोल रहा है तुम दाल राइस खाओ.
एक मिनट, साटे सबको मिलता है.
Not on A350.
If it is from Singapore departure,
वो बोल दो ना, ऐड करो.
साटे तो साटे मत ऑर्डर.
हमारे ऐसे लोगों का पहला फ्लाइट बैंगलोर टू सिंगापुर होता है.
बैंगलोर में मिलेगा ही नहीं, क्योंकि बैंगलोर में बुक द कुक अवेलेबल नहीं है. बुक द कुक इज अवेलेबल ओनली फ्रॉम बॉम्बे एंड दिल्ली, इंडिया से.
No, but I'll tell you, like I think about these things very differently, and I'll tell you the few points that I'm really enjoy about the premium flights, right? Starting from one of the smallest ones is the hot towels. Man, the refreshing experience that you get from that, awesome. Number two, in case you do have layovers, by more often than not, you will get access to good lounges. And with the lounges, one thing that I really like during layovers, especially long layovers, is showers. You go grab that nice shower, you are refreshed for the rest of the flight. And the last thing is obviously the lay flat. You get to sleep well. And I think thankfully I am in a situation where I am able to control my sleep well. If I want to sleep, I am able to sleep for an extended time. वो बोलता है कि अगर आपने पिछले जन्म में पाप नहीं किया है तो आप कभी भी चाहो तब नींद आ सकती है. I am glad for that.
आपके राइट में जो बंदा बैठा है, इसका क्या स्टेटस है ये बताओ जरा. कितने पाप किए आपने?
वैसे तो मतलब I should be an insomniac, right? By that logic.
आपकी नेक्स्ट जनरेशन जन्म में जो कुछ है उसका तो.
By the way, एयर इंडिया में इकोनॉमी में भी शावर होता है. Just FYI, if you know what I'm talking about.
No comments.
Anyways, एक काम करते हैं, we'll round off this section. हमारा डिबेट चलता रहेगा. We have Siddharth who hasn't spoken a word. He's been very polite. He's been waiting for us. So Sid, you've heard Dhimant's perspective. You've heard Ameya's perspective. Let's dig into you. You've done quite a bit because you are One World Sapphire, and with One World Sapphire you have exploited, if I can use the word, you have really juiced Group B when it comes to Atlas, and the Magnus Burgundy and the Reserve and the Burgundy Private, right? And that has opened up an insane opportunity for you, particularly with Flying Blue. You've also done a phenomenal amount of JAL. इसके अंदर घुसते हैं. Tell us, what experiences did you unlock via these? Which were your favorites? What have you particularly enjoyed? And let's dig in.
So first of all, I resonate with both Dhimant and Ameya on various points. When you mentioned that Air India security check, Delhi, I was flying Delhi to Bangalore. Man, that was a lifesaver. There were like 400 people next to me, and I was just looking by them, smiling and walking by. I was like, what a blessing, So that's one part of it. Coming to the One World story, of course, with the millions of miles that you pile up, and you have only that limit of 3 lakhs and then 12 lakhs in Group A and B. And Group A, if you don't have any flights planned, you just want to transfer it year on year to now, of course, 2 years it's been, to Accor, which is crowd favorite. Air France, I've flown Air France, I've flown KLM. Air France, the situation was such that it was quite underwhelming, to be honest. There was just one person at the airport, Bangalore airport, when I was flying out. It was a Bangalore to Paris flight. And the aircraft, so one thing I was just, noticing is that, yes, business class is one step ahead. But also depends on the aircraft. If you guys notice, so there was this one Malaysian Airlines flight, which I took from Bangalore to Malaysia, of course, on the way to Melbourne. So that was like worse than a train compartment. It was horrible. It was business. The second thing that comes to my mind in this business class thing, especially in Europe, intra-Europe flights, business class doesn't exist. Whatever I've taken, especially on Lufthansa, if you book a business class flight, right, it's literally like you're just getting the seat next to you. It's an economy flight. It could be an A320, A320neo, and just the seat next to you is empty. And you just probably get a glass of juice. It's worthless. I was like, dude, I want my points back, you know. I didn't know it was like that. But having said that, I've also experienced KLM's 787-10 Dreamliner. Man, that was an experience of a lifetime. So, and I'll tell you the route as well and why it was so meaningful. So Bangalore to Amsterdam direct flight, perfect, 2:30 a.m., get on the flight, have a couple of drinks, pass out, you have those wide, it has the inverted herringbone seats. Land in the morning, Amsterdam at around, I think it was 8:30, 8:45, you have an hour and a half. Then from Amsterdam to Bogotá, direct flight again, 787-10 Dreamliner. I mean, that's when you can really make use of this. So this I got a sweet spot, just by the way, booking on Flying Blue, the entire ecosystem. And there's one more great thing about Flying Blue, by the way, when you're booking, this also works with economy. They have this thing called a stopover, not a layover. So let's assume you're flying out of Amsterdam, or even Paris for that matter. What you can do is you can call these guys up and tell them, hey folks, you know what? There's this flight that I'm taking, which is to Bogotá. I'm stopping in Amsterdam, but here's the thing, right? I want to stay back for like 3 days or 4 days or whatever it is. So what you got to do is just check if there's a flight furtherance in terms of what date you're looking at, and tell them I want to take the next flight out to Bogotá. So what you can do is take the flight from Bangalore to Amsterdam, stay there for 4 days. They'll give you another boarding pass with the same PNR. 3 days later, 4 days later, 1 week later, it's valid for up to 364 days.
Oh, and this is free?
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
And then they give you the boarding for the next flight to whenever you want it, to Bogotá, for example. This is the flight that I booked. The best part is, it all comes within that framework of that 85,000 miles plus 110 euros in taxes that you pay.
Oh, nice.
That was an unbelievable redemption. The only downside, the flip side of that is, it can only be booked over call. And normally, any tickets...
So you book the ticket and then you call them?
No, so you check the tickets on the Flying... And the great thing about the Flying Blue ecosystem is that it's probably one of the few engines where you don't have to enter that date when you look into...
Yeah.
You know, from a desktop especially.
Correct.
That it just gives you year-all dates that are available month on month, and very convenient. I got Bangalore, Amsterdam, Bogotá, Cartagena, Amsterdam, Bangalore, with a 3-day stopover in Amsterdam for 130,000 miles in business 787 Dreamliner with I think around 40 or 50 grand in taxes.
You're saying round trip 130K?
Round trip.
So what you're saying is you use the Air France program to book KLM, return trip 130K plus potentially maybe 200 euros in taxes.
Around those lines.
Yeah.
Around those lines, yes. So
That is
something
a
like that.
But is that
use of
because the program is a dynamic program, so the prices keep changing, the mileage. So this is the cheapest mileage, or this is like a saver fare, or like
So
what is this?
even though it's dynamic, you'll have the same fare on other dates. So it's like this. Their economy is 30 grand, 30,000 miles. Premium is 50, and this is 80 to 85,000.
85, correct.
85,000. Earlier, up to like a couple of months ago, it was 25,000.
25, yeah, correct.
But you're saying 85, so return is discounted is what you're saying if you book it? Because you said 130.
Yeah, it's discounted. Exactly.
So when you book a return, it's not going to be 170, it's going to be 130. So makes sense to actually book a return trip if you're going. And this is a very good sweet spot unlocked for Magnus Burgundy holders.
Hey, but
So I think now-
sorry, go ahead.
Now the 85 has increased to I think 93, sometimes even 110. but I would say it's still worth it. Imagine flying 23 hours, two direct flights as in if you're stopping over in Amsterdam or Paris for that matter, on a 787-10 Dreamliner. Yeah. I mean, it's outstanding.
Yes. So here is the point, right? This is one of the most common questions that we get again, which is saying कि यार I'm sitting on so many miles, like group A खत्म हो गया है. Like guys, if you're thinking of Group B usage, I think we keep speaking about ITC, we keep speaking about Qantas. While Qantas is also great, Flying Blue is a very underrated program. So I'll tell you for 3 reasons. One, if you find that sweet spot, if you're flexible with dates, what Siddharth mentioned is an amazing opportunity. Generally, in my case, I am not very flexible with dates, right? So I don't get the cheapest fare. But still, what happened with me while going to Italy was, if you're looking for a Flying Blue seat, even close to your flying dates, it may be expensive, but you will get availability. And that's something which I've seen on Flying Blue, which is not easily available on other programs.
You can book up to 9 tickets in that.
Exactly.
In
Massive availability. The fare keeps increasing, but if you're, like he said, millionaire, you found your another, like Uncle Scrooge today. Like,
नहीं आपको क्या आपको रेफरेंस करना इम्पोर्टेंट है कि
no, I'm coming to the point. I was wanted to say that if you're sitting on a situation where you're sitting on lakhs of miles, this is a great opportunity for you to kind of take that route or flight that you're always thinking.
Absolutely. And if I can come in here, Dhimant, one more point about that program. If you're traveling with children below the age of 12 years old, there is a discount on miles of 25% for the kids.
Fab.
So
That's fab.
that's an added advantage. So just one more sweet spot, just since we are at this topic. Athens to Bangalore with a stopover in Amsterdam. 15,000 miles a ticket.
For economy?
Economy.
Wow.
So for 4 tickets, that's 2 adults and 2 kids, I got at 52,000 miles return and around, 20 grand odd in taxes. One of the best redemptions, I'd say even better than that business class redemption of mine.
But this will be dynamic, no? I mean, you won't always get
So this
one.
was a few months ago. Now, of course, it's changed. They've had a few devaluations.
Yeah. A funny part is, Aadil, so I was very nervous when I was flying Italy on Air France Flying Blue because I had flown Air France some years back. And it was in a very bad scenario at that point of time. So I was a little nervous and I was taking my family, my daughter was small. And few years back, we had done that redemption as well, right? So my wife was very excited, Air France, because you get masala chai on that flight. The Air France from Bangalore to Paris, fabulous, that Girnar ka masala chai. Throughout the entire night, my wife easily had like fun having that masala chai. I'm sure Ameya would love that as well, right? So
अमेया का ब्रांड अलग है अमेया का ब्रांड है वाघ बकरी so he swears by that
वो तो उसके बैग में रहता है.
Wagh Bakri is awesome.
agree with you 100% agree
But to his point, right, and this is one of the underrated features of the Flying Blue one as well, which is the free stopovers. Now, I'm going to steal the Vietnam ka Raja ka thunder now. So, I mean, one very beautiful itinerary you can do with Flying Blue is like, say, for example, in Vietnam, you have the 3 big destinations, right? You've got Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh, and what is the one in the middle? Da Nang in the middle. So you could do something like, India, Hanoi, Da Nang in one flight. Yeah. And then Da Nang, Ho Chi Minh, and India back in another flight. Yes. So within 2 redemptions, you are basically covering 3 cities in Vietnam.
And that's the Vietnam Airlines as a partner for Flying Blue.
Yeah.
So Vietnam Airlines is a partner for them. And now Vietnam Airlines also included a lot of India connectivity. So it just become like quite
Direct
easy
flights
to do.
from Bangalore to Hanoi. I think business is at 22,000 on A350.
Yeah.
So that's a great redemption.
But Aadil, I have one question here because we directly went pro. I have a question that a lot of people keep asking you also, I'm sure. Break this down for us, right? Ki when people are going on this business class, what should they expect? पहले तो ये बताओ कि ये hard product, soft product होता क्या है? Like, because this is something that people keep speaking about and you feel very nerdy when you do. Can you give us like practical understanding of what people should expect from a hard product, soft product? क्या होता है ये?
Yeah, for sure. So hard product is your fundamentals of the plane itself. So one is, what is the aircraft that you're typically flying in? Is it an A350? Is it a 787 like you spoke about? Is it an A380? Is it a legacy 777? What is it, right? So one is that. Second is, what is the kind of seat? You spoke about the reverse herringbone configuration. There are multiple configurations available, and there are certain ones that people prefer who are absolute aviation nerds, because there are people who, like, for example, I have friends who will go and measure the seat pitch. They will measure the length, because if you're obnoxiously tall, then that kind of matters to you. Lie flat hota hai ki nahi, because there are different types of business class. Now, there are certain planes, like if you're flying Etihad, if that's the A320, and if you're going to Abu Dhabi, you're not going to get the lie flat business class. You're just going to get, that Vistara type ka domestic business class, where it's a bigger seat, and that's it. It doesn't recline fully. So therefore, figuring out what is the seat itself, whether it is a lie flat, what all is available on the product in the form of your screen. How big is your TV screen? Whether it comes with an iPad kind of controller that is there in the Emirates. Does it come with a remote? Is that remote easy to operate? Is it clunky? All of that is a part of the hard product. Then you go to the soft product. The soft product is the F&B. What is the service? How are you greeted? Do they greet you by name when they see your boarding pass? Do they come and say hi if you have a particular status? Do they ask you if you're comfortable or if you want to move seats? Yes, that is what happens if you have status and you're flying the premier cabins. So I think that is when you can get nerdy about.
But Aadil, this is a great like a summary. But if somebody asks me, like a lot of times friends call me like, "Mera pehla flight hai business class ka. Is this a good aircraft?" Now I'm assuming they're asking about hard product. How does one figure out? Like ये बताओ. Like आपने बोला यार that banda spent 60,000 rupees for a ticket and ended up in a Thai Airways का business class which is not even a live flat or Air India wala yaar. How does one know whether this is the business class redemption I want to do? Are there any places where they can or they have to call you only?
Come on. I think there are multiple approaches, right? So for example, there are people and we meet all kinds of people. I am the kind of person, like for example, you and I were talking, right? If there is a particular product that I want to try, the destination doesn't matter. I will fly that aircraft because I want to experience that product. But then there are practical people in life also who will say, I want to go to this destination. Therefore, what is the product that I should try? So I think we should also talk about like which are business class that people should not try. Sid very correctly said कि यार Malaysian मत ही करो तो अच्छा है.
No, but
because it doesn't make sense.
But that's not airline specific. No, that's what I'm trying to say. What are the resources available? For example, a noob person is wanting to do a business class. कौन सा aircraft में जाना है? Now he's decided the flight. How does he know whether that flight is that or not?
आपके frameworks के language में बात करते हैं ना. It is a function of one.
गिन रहे हैं ना Sid, keeping count. This is the third. हाँ.
It is the function of where your points are accumulated, where you can transfer them to. Second, it's a function of what destination you're going to. And three, it's a function of what are the options available. तो चलो US की बात करते हैं, just because we want to take a practical example. अगर US की बात कर रहे हो, let's say अगर आपके पास axis के points है, let's say because it will be easier for people who have Burgundy, let's say it is easier for people who have Atlas. What are your options today? The first option is, I think, Qatar.
Correct.
Why Qatar? Because it's QSuites. QSuites पे it's a beautiful product. You will get your privacy, and I think if you mix your Atlas and if you mix your Magnus Burgundy, I will say you can do it with your partner also.
So one very simple filter, for instance, I think is how I'd go about it anyway. And there's obviously multiple layers to this. Number one, wide bodies only. I will say never take a business class on a narrow body plane. Essentially, wide bodies are going to be your whatever A350s, bigger 380s, the 747, 777, 787. If you have a A320, A3 whatever, you're not going to take that. So I think that is the first cutoff, right? It's just like, so let's go elimination. Narrow body, I don't know if you guys would just say some narrow bodies have decent experiences. I guess Etihad is rolling out with some nice narrow body ones going forward, but more often than not, I'll say narrow body, you're not going to take business class. Number one, because by default it's a shorter flight, but number two, you're more likely than not going to have the lie flat seat. So that is number one. Let's go into the next steps. How do you determine which airlines?
So if I can just come in here, if you don't mind. Coming to Dhimant's question, actually, so this reminds me of myself 2 years ago, and why I wanted to come in and answer this specifically is even I was confused about this. So now you guys are veterans, right? You all know I want to fly this aircraft. Yeah. I know this is what this airline does. This is what this route does. 2 years back, I didn't know this. So I think, Dhimant, to answer your question, probably there is some trick to this. But for me, what I did is I put in a little effort. I did some reading. I said, which are these aircrafts? Then I probably watched some videos to see how the aircraft is. Then you see some feedback. Then you know you want to fly a particular aircraft. If you have a choice between the two, you may as well take this A over B, or the vice versa. If you don't have a choice, and coming to Aadil's 3 points, I'll just add one. It also depends on what kind of a person you are. For example, I have a friend from here, Bangalore to Singapore. We are all flying, redeeming our points and whatnot. This bugger wanted to fly the SQF, the first class. Obviously from Bangalore, it's not there. So he said, I'll take it from Bombay next. Bombay तो there was no flight
क्या
available.
आपके फ्रेंड का नाम आदिल बंदूक वाला है?
So what this guy did was
Let's come to that.
he figured that there it's available from Delhi to Singapore A380 first class available hai. The next thing was Bangalore to Delhi there was no flight. So what this guy has done is he's redeemed Bangalore to Bombay to Delhi, Air India, both, then flown from Delhi to Singapore in A380. I was like, that is some commitment, boss, to want to fulfill that journey.
Tell you what, it's a good thing because he's checked that thing off the list. So I have absolutely no problem. When Dhimant and I went to watch the F1 race, I wanted to fly the F cabin. I cared not at all about the race. The point was, there was a flight that was coming to Delhi, but I had to come back to Bangalore. मैंने कहा ठीक है, Delhi जाएंगे, वहाँ से विस्तारा का business अपना redeem करके आ जाएंगे. That's completely okay. But the point is, you checked off the Singapore F on your list. So there are people like that. You're meeting one of them right now.
That's why I said point number 4. Depends on what kind of a person you are.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Sid, I think maybe, and again, what I did, like for me, it's probably a 8-year-old problem. When I first started flying, तो मेरे को सबसे पहले मैंने YouTube देखा, या I spoke to a few people. They said, यार flight कौन सा है वो देखो. I saw like 787, for example, a 747. Then again, it's a problem, right? Because you don't know which 747 is the configuration is better, which not. So I used a few apps, I think, which told me कि इसकी seating layout कैसी है. They also tell you कि ये seat पे मत बैठो, ये पे बैठो, right? They also tell you कि business class की pitch कितनी है. If you want to go nerdy, I think, like my point, Aadil, was limited point was there are a lot of people who take their first business class flight, end up making a mistake. I just want to make sure that we can help
मैं
them.
बोलता हूँ तुम्हारे फेवर्ट्स गए तेल लेने साइड में रखो उसको
चौथी बार बोला, मैंने नहीं बोला।
सिंपल रखो देयर हैज टू बी अ ड्रीम लिस्ट मेरे को ये एयरक्राफ्ट फ्लाई करने हैं सिंपल मेरी लिस्ट बताता हूँ मैं फिर आप लोग अपनी लिस्ट भी बताओ you will pounce on me for saying this but Emirates has to be there number 1 second there has to be Singapore Airlines 3 you have to have Qatar Airways 4 you have to have Etihad ये 4 तो तुम्हें करने ही हैं and if you want to play it safe and not have like a bad experience I would say take your pick in these
नहीं
4
यार, आदिल,
you
यार।
will not go wrong
No, I disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree with you. You're again talking like a nerd. I am telling you, think about a person who is not an aviation nerd. Right? मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि उसको
यार एविएशन नर्ड नहीं है तो नहीं करेगा ये सब
अरे नहीं बाबा
वो तुम्हारा podcast ही नहीं दिखेगा।
ऐसा
Chance ही नहीं है।
सर मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि you want to fly from here to Singapore, right? It's your first business class trip. You want to ensure that you sit on a good business class seat. I'm no longer worried about, let's say, SQ करना है या कतार करना है. That's what the cohort I'm speaking about. I get your point.
जीपीटी को पूछ लो धीमंत इतना क्यों स्ट्रेस ले रहे हो
ये बात
यार
सही है, ये बात
क्यों दिमाग खराब कर रहे हो
ये बात भी सही है.
वॉइस
In the
यूज
world of-
करो
in the world of AI, in the world of
जीपीटी को बोलो बता देगा क्या इसमें यार तुम भी
Ameya has a nickname for Aadil. What is ChatGPT nickname? Pro Max what? ChatGPT Pro Max.
Yes.
Aadil.
anyways you were saying something.
No, I was like, it is important what you're saying because, for example, people are, apart from the top 3 Middle Eastern airlines, people are quite, skeptical to use or try things like Kuwait, Riyadh,
Yeah.
Oman Air. But I've flown Oman Air. When I did Italy, I flew Oman Air. It was beautiful. What a amazing aircraft it was, and the experience was amazing. The food was amazing. Service, staff. The only downside, the flip side to it is that they don't serve alcohol, which is all right. So having said that, business class redemption, when you're doing, it is important to know what aircraft you're flying because you want to experience that business class. You don't want it to be like an economy like what Malaysia had to offer, for example. So I get your point.
But
Dhimant.
Aadil जो बोल रहा था वो बराबर है because personas के ऊपर depend करता है, right? If there's a persona who is that person who wants to experience all the business classes, he will think like that, right? But मैंने जो personas देखे हैं mostly because I have done this mistake and I was so angry on myself कि why did I waste my business class money on a flight which even felt like Vistara was better than that experience.
What flight was this?
This was Thai Airways का business, which I did not like at all, right? And so that's
But
what
यार धीमंत I feel like these are learning experiences that have to happen. Like nobody can get it right all the time. यार हमने भी काफी गलतियां की है यार. You've gone on a 777 business class and you're in a middle seat on Emirates. Can you imagine?
ये तो मेरे को पता भी नहीं था अभी तक.
Boss,
Like you said today, now I know. Like,
777 Emirates में तुम बैठे हो middle seat in a business class. इससे बदतर क्या हो सकता है यार? Come on. तो ऐसी गलतियां सबसे होंगी और वो जाने अनजाने में होंगी.
so you're
तो तुम
saying
ऐसे ही
that
सीखोगे.
start flying, you will hit these situations where you end up wrong decisions.
So Aadil, I think just for the audience now, tell us some good sites where we can look at the seat layouts with respect to, how does a given seat for a plane look like? and where to potentially pick and not pick.
Seatguru.com.
Seatguru.com.
Go to seatguru.com. Please understand, some of the maps that are there on Seatguru, when you go there, they are outdated. So they might not be the right thing. Now, when people are like a few of us who are extremely nerdy, we are known to call the airline and reconfirm कि boss इसमें ये configuration है क्या? Is this really this aircraft? Sometimes the airline will not want to tell you, and the agent will say, sorry, I'm not authorized to give you this information. There is a very interesting term in our world, in the points and miles world, which is called HUACA, H-U-A-C-A. So when you come across an agent like this, hang up and call again. H for hang, U for up, and A, C call, A again. Hang up and call again. And when you try 3-4 times, तुमको information मिल जाएगी. The सवाल ये है कि तुम like how prepared are you and how much do you really want
how much
it?
are you ready to go towards to kind of ensure that your experience is good?
Exactly. So the point is, if you're really obsessed and you're starting out the game, मेरे को लगता है थोड़ा effort मारो.
Perfect. So let's play a small game here, right? So let's say that all of us have booked a business class, let's say flight from here to Europe, somewhere in Europe, right? How many of you would call up the airline, right, and try to understand like what all is included? Like, would you?
Not even if you pay me. No chance.
What about Aadil?
Yeah, I have done this. I'll give you an example. This is a practical story. आज बताते हैं आपको. When I was flying with Sanya for my 15th anniversary, I booked Etihad first class. And Etihad first class was from Abu Dhabi to London. ये मैंने SBI Premier card से किया था, where I had a companion voucher. So I got buy one get one free using miles. So it was a crazy redemption, some 85 or 90k miles for 2 first class tickets from Abu Dhabi to London. Crazy. अब ये मिल गया. I am celebrating. I have called and bragged to my wife saying that we are going to go first class. It's our anniversary and we'll have a great time. She is also full khush now. 15 दिन के बाद I get that dreaded email that you never want to get in your life. Equipment changed. Now you've got the A380 has moved to, I don't remember, it was a 787 or 777, one of those two. The plane that is flying to London now does not have the first class cabin. I was supposed to fly the apartment, and I have 2 apartments next to each other so that, it converts like into almost like a queen size bed for both of us that you can share and you can have a great time. I was screwed. Right until, so luckily I booked this in Jan. I was going to fly in October. For 6 months, every 3 to 4 days I have called them. Sir, कुछ हुआ क्या? कुछ seat availability है क्या? कुछ कर सकते हैं क्या? 1 दिन बाद change कर दो, 2 दिन बाद change कर दो. Seats.aero पे alerts डाल के रखा हूँ. कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, and they didn't care because I didn't have any status on Etihad. Finally, 2 days before, as luck would have had it, I was like, नहीं हो रहा है, business ही fly करेंगे, it's okay. And they were not even able to refund miles or whatever. They were like, चाहिए तो ले लो, नहीं तो refund ले लो. मैं refund तो नहीं लूँगा, मैं जाना तो है इसी पे. 2 days prior, I have called them again. Luckily, seats have opened up 1 day later. मैंने कहा, no problem, आप करो. मेरे को लंदन में 1 दिन कम हो जाएगा, but I'll get to stay 1 night in Abu Dhabi. And Accor was our friend. Luckily, got a hotel, stayed there, and then flew the A380.
I know this.
So if you think about it,
Yeah,
I would have
absolutely.
probably made, I'm saying, if not, at least 90 to 100 calls in that 6-month window of 180 days.
I'll tell
But
you.
if I truly
No,
wanted
fair,
it, so I'm
fair.
obsessive about it. So मैं तो करूँ points, earning points is hard, and seeing them go to waste can really
100%.
hurt.
I want to finish this round and then I'll tell a small story about this. Like, you would have called or not?
I would do it for different reasons. Number one, I think the geek in me, especially if I'm flying certain planes, 747, 380, I would want the
Just to know the equipment.
ऊपर वाला ना ऊपर वाला सीट चाहिए मुझे.
You don't need to call for that. Huh? You should be able to.
We
book
should
it
be
on
able
the-
to. I'm saying, okay, maybe I won't call and all, but I'll make sure I'll pick a seat. The other thing I'd be very finicky about, and I do it whenever I'm this thing, is कि अरे यार इतना पैसा दे के आप कर रहे हो, don't get the seat next to the toilet. So apart from both of these, I wouldn't.
वो तो सीट ग्रुप पे मैं देखता हूँ, अगर टॉयलेट वाला सीट है तो रेड कलर आता है तो अलग अब नहीं करना है. But I'll tell you one story.
Bulkhead seat also.
Yeah, bulkhead seat. Yeah. So I realized this personality of Aadil when the first time we went for that event, F1 event, and I was that personality who would never call, right? Never call. And he told me that I'm coming with my friend on first class Delhi to Singapore. We have got first class tickets. आप अपना देख लो. तो बोला ठीक है फिर मैं बैंगलोर से I booked business class and आते वक्त भी मैंने बहुत ट्राई किया मुझे first class नहीं मिला. I only got business class. So I booked business class both ways. Experience at Singapore was sorted. and I was fairly happy, right? But from the day I landed there, इसको खुजली थी, ये मुझे बार-बार पूछ रहे मिला कि नहीं है फ्लस, मिला कि नहीं, रिटर्न में
दोनों भाई साथ में
हाँ
जाएंगे यार,
एग्जैक्ट,
मतलब
रिटर्न में FC करो. Every day he would to push me to call them, and I would call them, and obviously like disappointment क्योंकि नहीं मिल रहा था. And when we are leaving, we are having that final drink in the morning after checkout, and his flight was first because he was flying to Bombay, I think, or Delhi, and I was flying to Bangalore. So मेरा direct flight था Bangalore वाला. So my flight was later. Like एक काम करते हैं, मैं जाता हूँ वहाँ पे, मैं चेक करूँगा आगे सीट अवेलेबल है क्या तेरे फ्लाइट का, एंड देन आई विल कॉल यू, देन यू कम. मैंने बोला यार ये बंदा फाइटर है यार. बट फ्रॉम दैट डे ऑनवर्ड्स आई हैव एक्चुअली ट्राइड कॉलिंग सिंगापुर, एंड आई एम जनरली दैट पर्सनालिटी वुडंट कॉल, बट आई रियलाइज दैट समटाइम इट डज मेक सेंस. इफ आई गो विथ माई फैमिली, नाउ इफ आई बुक अ स्वीट, नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू एंश्योर दैट आई डू दिस, बिकॉज मुझे नहीं पता कि क्या होगा.
यार ये इंपॉर्टेंट, आई टेल यू व्हाई, राइट? सो फॉर एग्जांपल अगर तुम फॉर एग्जाम्पल QSuites की बात करते हैं, स्पेशली फैमिली के साथ अगर ट्रैवल कर रहे हो, इन योर केस सिड यू ट्रैवल विथ योर गर्ल्स, राइट? आइडियल टू हैव 4 people. In your case, Dhimant, you travel.
Sorry,
with
let me cut you there.
Yeah.
I will not fly my girls in business class. That's a rule. That rule is set.
Okay, let's unpack this.
So my wife and me have an understanding. And this, of course, it's come over a period of time. It's unfolded. I've earned it, boss. I've studied. I've earned those points. Now it's my turn to redeem. Let my kids sit in economy. And if it has to be that case, I'll also sit in economy. And for me also it helps in a way, because I'm going to confess now, it works out better in terms of points usage and whatnot.
This is the finance nerd of you coming out.
Absolutely, it helps in where it has to help, let it help. So I'm like, no business for these girls. So, but they have one request. Papa, no Indigo. वो tab नहीं है. It doesn't have that
talking
tab.
to someone who is Indigo Tier 1 member.
You never know. Indigo is going to become a one world alliance, and very soon, like
सीधा
देखो क्या होगा.
One World Sapphire, right there.
Indigo में Sapphire है.
नहीं वो
He'll become Indigo Tier 1.
What will you do with all those blue chips? All gone down the drain then.
Cool. So I was saying, like for example, I'll tell you, right? So अगर आप QSuites fly करते हो ना, और ये लोगों को समझना important है. QSuites में you have something known as the QSuites duo setup. जहाँ पे if you take the 2 middle seats, the compartment comes down, and you and your wife can share the same seats into a dual seat, and you can dine together and have a good conversation, and you can watch the same screen, same audio share, all of that features are available. It gets more fun when you're using the 4 seats as a quad. तो उसमें क्या होता है, your wife and you are, let's say, sitting here सामने, your kids can flip the seats into a U-turn, and the 4 of you will be
Like a
facing
dining
each
table.
other.
हाँ मतलब.
And then you're having a great family conversation. Imagine that, right? In the skies for a 4. That is what the quad can
Which sector you will find this flight? Like this will be.
do. Whichever aircraft has the QSuites.
Oh, अच्छा QSuite
This
everywhere.
is available on the QSuites.
Interesting.
Now here what happens is, जैसे for example अगर आप online book कर रहे हो ना, अभी इसमें क्या होगा कि you will see that middle seat, let's say 3 Charlie किसी ने book किया है, 3 Delta या 3 Frankfurt किसी ने बुक किया है, alternate, तो तुमको quad मिलेगा ही नहीं. तुम बोलोगे अब मैं कैसे करूं? In this case you make the call and you request the person who's on the customer support
That we are a
line,
family, yeah,
ma'am,
like
we are a
that.
family of 4, I'd like to make that redemption. पहले तो 4 seat redemption पे मिलना बहुत मुश्किल है, 2 ही मिलता है
नहीं
normally.
है ही नहीं,
और
4
खत्म.
तो अवेलेबल है. आपको 2 रेवेन्यू पे लेना पड़ेगा एंड 2 रिडम्पशन लेना
In
पड़ेगा.
that case अगर आपको मिल जाता है, अगर for the best use case if you want to try this is, like you said, do 2 via redemption, do 2 via smart buy on revenue, and you get this sorted. और बाकी आपको 30% पे भी 15,000 या 18,000 Infinia या EPM पे मिल जाएगा. So that is the best use case. Now अगर आप जब 4 बैठ रहे हो, you have to call them and say कि यार मैं ये करने वाला हूँ. And Qatar, the people are extremely gracious and nice, much like Singapore Airlines, where you can tell them, ma'am, I want to do this. Can you hold the 4 seats for me? Can you hold the 4 seats? Because 2, can you book it on miles? 2, I want to book, but I am going to book it on smart buy. And I'll book it. What I will need from you is to reassign those seats. I am going to book 2 random seats, जो मेरे को दिख रहा है उधर. But आप अगर मेरे लिए 4 होल्ड करते हो, 2 तो मेरे लिए आप ऑलरेडी असाइन कर दोगे, 2 आप मेरे को असाइन कर दो. So now you see when you're going into the depth, now you secured those seats.
यार आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी गुड समरी फॉर पीपल हु आर ट्राइंग टू बुक बिजनेस क्लास विद फैमिलीज. आई थिंक यार कॉल करना जरूरी है. मतलब तो सुन के ऐसा लग रहा है कि ऑलमोस्ट जरूरी है. लाइक आई नीड टू गेट दैट लेजीनेस आउट ऑफ.
Yeah, this was a great point made by
I had
Aadil.
no
I mean,
idea,
that was
honestly.
kudos. And credit where it's due. You know, Qatar having one of the finest business class products, I mean, throughout the world. Also, when you go to book a Qatar seat, if you notice, they also mention over their QSuites. So they know that they have a great product. They make it easier for you to identify it and then book it subsequently.
You won't believe in the Qatar app, even when they are offering, for example, you're not a frequent flyer, right? You choose a redemption option. Even if it is a flexi fare, they'll write it, कि dude, this is a flexi fare. This is not the cheapest fare. आप ढूंढो कहीं और cheapest fare अगर आप flexible हो तो. This is lovely.
130K versus 65K.
Yeah, and it builds so much of trust with the airline saying, okay, he's not trying to just sell me something. भाई है option कहीं और तो कर लो. Plus, I have seen that their customer care is mind blowing even on chat. I have tried chat. So I booked the Cathay Pacific via Qatar. I had an emergency change that I had to make. I just left a chat message. They will get back. They called back. हमारे यहाँ पे तो अगर किसी ने बोला I'm calling back, वो कभी call नहीं आता. Like I've experienced that multiple times in India, right? They never call back. Then you only have to follow up, and then you would explain the entire case again. It's a pain, right? They followed up. They ensured everything was done, and they signed the card link, which worked, which came on time, and I paid through it. And Atlas also worked on that, by the way.
So this is a great summary of QSuites, Qatar specifically. The last bit that you guys have spoken about. One is the hard product. Two is their transparency. And three is their, again, attention to calling back to make sure that they get back to what they're saying, their commitment. So hats off to Qatar. I mean.
Yeah, so basically then what I'm hearing is कि अगर आपका जो first question which I asked you, right? How do you ensure that you have a first good business class experience? One suggestion, one simple way of doing it is कि choose a good airline.
Absolutely.
मतलब ठीक है, don't choose the ones which are risky. जहाँ पे आपको ज्यादा डेप्थ में जाना पड़े, बट कतार है, सिंगापुर है,
थोड़ा ज्यादा माइल्स जाएगा तो जाने दो. Don't compromise on your first experience because you're getting it 20K cheaper somewhere else.
अरे तो make it
Save yourself from
make it pinpointed ना. Tell me 5 airlines which you feel are
मैं तो
safest.
पहले ही बोला आप disagree करें.
नहीं disagree. I was talking about a different persona. Like they are saying कि यार बता, मैंने book कर लिया.
I'll give you my top 5. Let's hear your top 5s as well. And then I want to have a follow-up question to all of you, which have been your top 2 or 3 business class flights, which sector, which airlines and why?
Perfect. Let's do that. Yeah.
I'll go my top 5. Number 1 has to be Emirates. There's no looking back. The second one has to be Qatar QSuites. The third one has to be Singapore Airlines, the A380 anywhere to anywhere. The fourth one has to be Etihad, the apartments. And the fifth one, this I haven't done, but this is on my wish list. And this is a foodie's dream come true to do this. It's Turkish. Because on Turkish, you have the chefs wearing the white hat. They come with their trolley. They will plate the food in front of you, personalize it, and they'll give it to you on the long haul. So I haven't done it, but it's on my wish list. So those are my top 5. Siddharth, let's come to you.
So obviously, I think for most people, it's going to be at least 60% to 70% of your top 5. But having said that, I haven't flown the Etihad or Emirates rather business. But I had a great experience with Turkish, like you mentioned. It reminded me of my flight from Bombay to Istanbul. Yeah. Phenomenal service. Their hard product is just amazing. Plus, of course, all the services that they bring along with, like your chef and whatnot. So that's number 1. But I'd also like to point out specifically, KLM, Air France, not such a good experience. Older products. But then again, they try and make it up with their service. It can be a hit or a miss. And Singapore, of course, I've never faced an issue. So that's like a no-brainer. Coming back to Dhimant's question, if you have to do it, QSuites with Qatar is like a no-brainer, easy availability as well. Quite reasonable also in my opinion. And Singapore. Like these two are like a complete no-brainer for me.
I'll tell you my list and how I think about it. I would basically say that for me, the important parameter is consistency. Because if I'm recommending it to somebody as their not going wrong opportunity, then I would say that consistency is important. So for me, the most consistent airline that I have flown with is Singapore. Okay, you can say Emirates is better. You can say Qatar is better in certain sectors, but Singapore is more consistent, right? The amount of times I've flown with Singapore, I have never seen them go wrong. And when they go wrong, they make it up very easily, right? So for me, fly Singapore if you can. This is on the east side of it. If you're on the west side of it, I would say Qatar, right? So this is my recommendation on both sides. I would also say that look out for inconsistent airlines which do a pretty good job sometimes and a pretty good bad job sometimes. One of is Air India. The reason why I don't recommend it is because it's too much of research to do कि कौन सा airline है. They also have very frequent aircraft changes. I remember Aadil calling me कि भाई मेरे को ये मिल रहा है मेरा US के फ्लाइट का एयर इंडिया which was the life miles one.
Yeah. I think I called you कि मेरा न्यूयॉर्क का ट्रिप आ रहा है और मेरे को यूएस जाना है, लाइफ माइल्स में मिल रहा है यार, फर्स्ट क्लास मिल रहा है 120K में, ले लूँ क्या? एंड देन यू गेव मी द राइट एडवाइस, मत कर, बेवकूफ़ी मत कर, just stick to your Emirates, you have the miles, it is not risky, you will fly business, but it's I remember you telling me, you'll always be calm, बिजनेस मिल रहा है, ले लो, शांति से जाओ, यहाँ पे अगर इक्विपमेंट सॉफ्ट हो गया
लग गई फिर तो बैड,
फिर तो प्रॉब्लम.
So question, yeah, that's actually amazing advice. So question for you with regard to that, have you been there, done that, burnt your hands to be able to give?
Multiple times. Air India mein I have flown not only international, I have flown domestic sectors from Bangalore to Delhi on business where seats are broken. Like now I think things are getting much better and we are all hopeful that things will get better. But even on Thai Airways, for example, right? I gave an example of Thai Airways, situations where seats have been very good, but at same time certain situations where the crew is so bad, like completely.
What's happened to Lufthansa? People used to talk about it so much.
I wanted to sort of bring
It's completely gone.
My experience with Lufthansa hasn't been great. I'll leave it to Ameya to.
No, but Lufthansa, see, I think, and again, I mean, this is the nerd in me talking, but if I were to fly Lufthansa, I would specifically want a few cabins in some of the 747s which have got the Allegris update done.
That's what I'm trying
Not
to say.
all 747s are done by the way. So, yeah, I think if I were to add to your big list, that specific plane, the specific subset of planes which have got the upgrades, I would want to take.
No, but my question is not that. My question is, अगर उसको risk free advice देना है.
Risk free is
like
the
Lufthansa is risky in my view.
रिस्क है तो इश्क है. But Ameya, complete that, what you were saying.
Yeah, so I mean the Allegris cabins, especially the 747, I do want to try. The Japanese airlines you guys missed out on. They've got beautiful
I agree with you.
products. So both ANA and JAL have got like really nice products, and that's something I want to try. I want to do the Delhi New York 350 from Air India at some point of time. I love their soft product. I've told you. I like their food, and if you have a good hard product to come with it, then why not? But then having said that, Air India can be very hit or miss. Like I think, for example, if you ever get the Delhi SFO kind of flights, the business class one, that is shit, man. Half the seats are broken. They used to be broken anyway.
He has burnt his hands and.
Even United has come up with the Allegris right now.
Yeah, United is Polaris, no?
Polaris. It's Polaris. Lufthansa is Allegris.
Okay, so the same configuration.
Yeah,
as
similar
Polaris.
configuration.
Ameya, wait, you want to double click a little bit on, because we're talking about Air France, talk a little about La Premiere also. It's first class, but like it looks majestic, the new one.
I don't like the aesthetic, man.
No?
Like, no. It's, I again, only seen it in pictures,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It doesn't give you that comfortable feeling. Like, it is probably very, it's fancy, but somehow comfort nahi aata hai.
मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगा. Like I've obviously never tried it, but in pictures it looks so good.
It looked to me like an M Gallery hotel, like it feels like an M Gallery
It
touch.
actually does. A modern
यार M Gallery से थोड़ा ऊपर ले लो.
हाँ, मतलब I'm saying the vibes are like that. The design
but
aesthetics.
It's so nice. Like I mean, it has your privacy. It feels big.
A night of Baccarat, maybe. So, coming to that Air France La Premiere, so it is only available to book via miles if you are a SkyTeam Platinum status.
Yeah, now.
So it's not available to book for anyone, even if you have the points, the miles to
Ameya
book.
will tell us how to become platinum.
Of course.
SkyTeam and all, by the way, SkyTeam, there's a very nice this thing you can do in case you fly SkyTeam a lot. Virgin will let you get tier points for a subset of award flights also.
Tier points.
So this is the double dip for you.
Batao.
It's not eligible on all flights. I think you'll need to go into details with respect to saying which ones. But a set of partner award flights, they will let you get tier points. And then there's a set of people who will do this optimization saying, fly for the heck of it. Which flight is the most optimal in terms of earning this and, chase some of your SkyTeam statuses. So that can work out well. You could also do, I don't know if the top tier is status match, but there was a status match available with Vietnam Airlines that you can pay money and get with a bunch of things. If you are really desperate for it, that could be a way to fast track.
Alright, तो अभी एक अलग section करते हैं. What I want to cover right now is which have been some of our most favorite, one or two business class experiences, and let's restrict it to one or two only. And why? Like why was it so special for you? What did you really enjoy about it? Sid, आपसे शुरुआत करते हैं. List one or two of your most cherished business redemptions.
I think what comes to mind instantly is the Lufthansa redemption. Coming back from the United States, flew out of New York, stop in Frankfurt, had a 4-hour stopover, and then from Frankfurt to Bangalore. Aircraft was amazing. The business class, the lounge at Frankfurt is very good. So that also helped. And the second I would say is KLM again, because I've been to so many lounges, right, in and around. I think that Crown Lounge at KLM at Schiphol is amazing. One of the best lounges I've seen. It's a tiered sort of a lounge. You have that sky view, you have a deck view, that kind of thing. And like how Aadil talks about tasting the food on the flight, tasting the food, a good buffet spread, no? For me, I'm a guy who likes to try all the alcohol that's over there. Now, unfortunately, I landed in the morning, but however, it was very tempting, so I tried a couple of whiskeys over there. The lounge, the Crown Lounge, and in Schiphol in Amsterdam, they have numbered lounges. They don't have names for some reason. Only this Crown Lounge is what they've named. And if you have a business class ticket, you can visit that Crown Lounge. It's I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 52. And it's one of the best lounges. Just for that lounge, this was a memorable experience for me. And also they give you like a souvenir. Those Dutch houses that are there, they give you one of those houses. And they also fill some gin in that for you to take back and go like, one for the road.
Unique ones, right?
Yeah, those are the unique ones, and one for the road, one kind of thing. And that's also a souvenir which you can take back to you. So a couple of memorable ones. And both I was flying alone. So it was, I was on my own, enjoying myself, just loving the experience.
So this thing about these houses that if they are not consumed, they will just trash it. Like, every piece is unique with respect to those houses that you get on your KLM business.
Oh man, that's really disheartening to hear. I mean,
Dhimant, let's come to you.
Yeah, I was this was a very surprising thing because the policy of our company had just changed, right? And suddenly I was told by my travel desk कि आप business fly कर सकते हो. So I was flying to US, one of the biggest.
इतनी खुशी.
Yeah, exactly.
इतनी खुशी.
एक तो आप पहले से you are excited because you're going to Vegas, right? And you are like कि मतलब you're gonna enjoy, have fun of your life, and then you get a call from your travel desk saying कि I'll convert your, you're eligible to book business class. So at that time I was Jet Platinum, right? So by default I said कि यार Etihad book कर लो, and luckily Etihad tickets were also in that range where a travel desk can manage that change, right? There's some rule of 10% difference that they can align with, and they also used to allow stopovers. So for me it was stopping at New York, going to Vegas because तभी snow time था, तो that entire thing works well. I flew that, and the reason why it was very memorable was, one, I don't remember ever having the Middle Eastern dips that I've tried on that flight. The muhammara that I tried on that, it's stuck in my head forever. That smoky, spicy, tangy flavor, and that pita bread that I got. Also at that point I used to drink, right? So the best cocktails available in the air. There was that peak time of Etihad where I remember where Emirates was struggling during that period of time, and Etihad was doing extremely well, and I had the flight of my life. Also, I stopped over at the lounge at Abu Dhabi. Obviously, did the immigration to the US at Abu Dhabi airport, and probably had another great round of food at Abu Dhabi, and landed US fresh, straight away went to the hotel, and I was so fresh. Like, I remember that flight is etched in my memory for life. That's been one of my favorite flights.
Awesome. Ameya.
मैं तो सोता हूँ सर फ्लाइट में. I sleep nicely.
But 16 घंटे थोड़ी सो गए.
अरे I sleep a lot. I sleep a real lot. But
That recent flight to Bombay, like you were sleeping the whole time. Like
Bombay में तो छोटा flight है ना.
how about the full time you were sleeping?
अरे but no, I'm big on that. So like whenever I have to take a long haul, like these 16-hour kind of flights, in the week preceding these flights, I will slowly tweak my sleep cycle so that half an hour karte. My objective is simple. When I'm going to land, I want to be up and active and do things. But I think talking of memorable business class experience, I'm going to put a very different one. This is probably the first business class that I've ever flown, and this was a Jet Airways, 2009 I think, Chennai to Bombay. And it's, I think, the whole case of, your diminishing returns in some sense, but nice experience, man. I think first time, I think the lounges out there are also pretty nice and different special experience. So yeah, nowadays, I'm like, the practical me, I'm like, I just want to sleep. Khana wana kuch farak nahi padta hai. Like, when you wake up, you'll anyway get some food, you eat. But I think what happens after you land is what matters. And in that sense, I, for example, appreciate a lot the fact that your bags come in early, or your bags are already arranged by the time you get out. You sometimes have, shorter queues with respect to the next set of things also. That I definitely.
You see the difference, right? That functional need of a business class versus the emotional need of, social need of eating great food comes out, right? But this has been one of the big issues, Aadil, with me on Singapore Airlines, for example, right? यहाँ से सिंगापुर जाना है, नाइट फ्लाइट लूँ या डे फ्लाइट लूँ? नाइट फ्लाइट में नींद अच्छी आती है, डे फ्लाइट में यू कैन एंजॉय द पर्क्स ऑफ बिजनेस क्लास. व्हाट डू यू डू?
अपन तो नाइट ही लेते हैं सर. 11 बजे की फ्लाइट, क्योंकि वो सुबह में 7 बजे 7:30 बजे पहुंचती है. 8 बजे तुम घुस जाओ, अकॉर प्लैटिनम हो, अर्ली चेक इन ले लो. As simple as possible, as simple as that. Now, sometimes I know you like Swiss Hotel, even for platinums will say, sorry, no chance,
correct.
I am not giving it to you. Right?
Agreed.
So early check-in वहाँ पे तो नहीं मिलेगा. But if you want to go to Sofitel City Center, वहाँ पे I have taken it multiple times. If you want to go to, which is that other one on Orchard Road पे एक
Pullman.
प्रॉपर्टी है Pullman. तो वहाँ पे तुमको अर्ली चेक इन दे देंगे. मेरा हिट रेट वहाँ पे 100% है ये 2 प्रॉपर्टीज में. स्विस होटल में तो मेरे को पता नहीं मेरी शक्ल पे क्या लिखा होता है. आउटराइट वो बोलते हैं नहीं सर आपको मिलेगा.
They don't give. They are very
they don't
strict.
give.
So they are Swiss Hotel, by the way, like for people who don't know, like haven't traveled and stayed in a Swiss Hotel, they're very unlike Accor. They're very uptight, and they don't act like an Accor property, right? So they behave very differently than a Pullman or a Sofitel, right? So even when you go there and ask them for an upgrade, they don't like it. Like you have to wait for them to give you the upgrade. You can't ask them. They don't like it.
No, but a workaround this is, it's worth trying. You can obviously email them and tell them this is the time I'm going to reach. If you don't have an early check-in, no problem, but I don't mind paying for it. So a lot of these hotels, it happened to me in Amsterdam as well. It was INK.
Yeah, but भाई को pay नहीं करना है ना.
30 euros you pay via points only.
नहीं, but वो भाई को नहीं pay करना है.
Redemption ही होगा ना. It's a redemption only. You get early check-in, 9 बजे का check-in होता है.
अगर तुम्हें सोफिटल फ्री में दे रहा है, अगर तुम्हें पुलमन फ्री में दे रहा है, both are spectacular properties, yeah. Why will you unnecessarily go to Swiss Hotel?
But it's always worth
Unless,
trying,
like-
of course.
Sorry?
It's worth trying first, of course, like
of
you
course,
say.
Like I believe, मतलब मांगने में कुछ
This
नहीं
is
जाता.
plan B.
Yeah, plan B. Of course, for sure. Let's come to my favorite redemption. I think like there are 2. First, if I'm flying solo, has to be Emirates Business long haul, which is Dubai SFO, Dubai New York, Dubai London. Pick any sector, pick an A380, you cannot go wrong. But if I'm the one that I've traveled with my wife, I think that was special. Dublin to Doha and Doha to Bangalore. This was special because we had gone to London and Scotland. And then London, if you're doing redemption, most of you will know that the taxes are insane and obnoxious. So what we did was, instead of flying back from there, we took a local flight to Dublin. And from Dublin, we got the QSuites. Now, the beautiful part about QSuites is fully enclosed privacy for you as a couple, but gourmet dining on demand. There is no कि वो ट्रे लेके आएंगे तुम इतना ही है तुम खा लो. नहीं. They'll give you a menu. जब चाहिए बटन दबाओ, she will come. You tell मेरे को अभी ये चाहिए. And there is no order to things. You want the main first, you order the main first. You want the dessert first, you order the dessert first. It doesn't matter. अच्छा dessert 2 बार खाना है, no problem. So I think because of all of that, I think that has been my most treasured experience so far.
Awesome.
Let's now come to which is one business class experience we want to do and we want to do in the near future. इसके बारे में बात करते हैं. Sid, let's start with you.
After listening to so much of what you said, Aadil, I'm definitely going to say Emirates. That's next on my bucket list. Never tried that, but looking forward to that. And I always wanted to try Jal as well. Yeah. So happy to say that it's scheduled now, sometime next month.
Awesome.
So I'll be flying.
Where are you going?
So I'm going to Japan. So I
When
fly
are you going?
in October, the first week of October.
अरे वाह, it's almost here.
Yeah. I fly out in 2 weeks. So I'm doing a small trip in Thailand. And then from there, I'm flying Bangkok to Osaka.
Bangkok.
But this backstory to that is, I wasn't flying initially out of Bangkok, but there was a business class available, Vietnam A350 from Bangkok to Osaka direct. Through
Jal.
Yeah, not through Jal, through Vietnam. So I'm stopping over in either Hanoi or Saigon, the SGN,
okay.
one of those two. So I'm looking forward to that experience, but more so than that, coming back. So Narita to Bangalore, the direct flight. Yeah.
That's
Perfect
beautiful.
timing. And
Perfect, yeah, that's
business
perfect.
class, locked and sealed. Looking forward to that. And it's just my wife and me. We are packing up the kids back with our parents
That's
from
why you're
Thailand.
flying business.
Exactly.
He can afford to say
ये video
He has earned it, but the wife commands it.
ये पॉडकास्ट YouTube पे जब तुम्हारे बच्चे बड़े हो जाएंगे ना तब देखेंगे. बोला मेरे माँ बाप तभी बिजनेस फ्लाई करते थे जब हम साथ में नहीं होते थे.
I'm not going to wait till then. I'm going to show this to them now and say this is on record.
You earn your business class.
Cool. Ameya, let's come to you.
If I want to try one, I want to try the ANA ones. I've heard they've got beautiful business class.
पिचाकू जेट करना है मुझे. पिकाचू.
I don't know if those are very specific routes, so I don't know if that's very practical. But yeah, I don't mind the Pikachu jet. Yeah, but yeah, ANA is the one that I want to try out outside of everything else that we've talked of.
यार मैं लाइक आई एक्चुअली लाइक वो होता है ना जो नई चीज़ मिलती वही करना होता है वैसे वाली फीलिंग है तो लाइक आई एम नाउ क्यूरियस टू डू दिस ला प्रीमियर kind of stuff but वो तो first class है हाँ मतलब that's what but वो I was trying to come to the fact that what is not easily available so that's why Emirates for me as well because it's now very limited partners it's hard plus there's nerdy to find that seat that entire excitement is there miles भी नहीं है like it's a challenge right how do you kind of figure that out so my ideal sector is I want to fly because I have another US trip that I want to do very soon probably Emirates US is what I'm thinking.
Awesome. I'll tell you a very controversial one which you all might judge me for, but I actually want to do the Air India A350. I want to do that to maybe London or US long haul because I feel naya hai, they are bringing in massive upgrades to their hospitality. The only thing that bothers me is that equipment change. And that is permanently scaring me because you know my friend Rakesh, he was coming from Air India to Bangalore in the on the first class. And now what happens is equipment swap happens. It is communicated at last minute. He can't change it because it happens less than 24 hours. He goes inside. The seat is bad. It's a dated aircraft. You know, like the AC is not functioning. It was that bad. It functioned later when the flight took off. But he was panting. He was in sweat. It was a bad scene. But I really want to try the A350 because it looks so good. I've heard good stuff from people who are traveling. And it's a great option to fly direct. So it's something I would love to try.
Yeah, it's a great redemption. I did that when it was in the domestic flight, and I think a lot of us, the geeks, have done it. I think my only worry is that are they maintaining the quality of the aircraft? And if you want to do it fast, because I have an issue with the fact that they're not being maintained at the right level. Economy seats of the A350 are already under.
Are they?
Yeah, like their seats are not reclining. I've heard multiple people complain on economy. When I flew the economy, my TV the display was not working.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I was one of the earlier people to fly and I loved the Angry Birds game on that.
But why would you guys want to put yourself through that ordeal knowing how much now I know Aadil he's going to be calling them every single day and asking them is there a equipment change?
No. So
your
long
anxiety
as you
levels
don't get that message or email, you're sorted. There's no issue.
Oh right.
Only if you get that message equipment change, man, then it's
But
panic.
the way thing in Aadil, they will never commit now because the problem is they are running short of aircrafts. They have to
So
make these real
so
time
I
changes.
think what you have to do is you have to look at hit rate, which is where like the nerd in us comes back and then you're checking your flighty to see how many equipment changes have happened on this aircraft in the past. When you're going to like Flyer Talk and when you're going to these online forums which track these aircrafts and seeing ki kitni baar equipment swap hua hai on this particular route.
Yeah.
And then on percentage probability you play.
But I think if I'm not mistaken, I think I've read it from a few people who write on Twitter and who do this regularly. I think when the equipment change happens, they obviously give you a change. They give you the entire mileage also back. So there is a set process at least for it now. So it's not like you've suffered and you've not got the mileage back. Obviously you don't want that, but at least it leaves less heartburn than it would have. So did your friend, for example, get the mileage back?
Nothing.
Because
Absolutely nothing.
I think that's the case when the downgrade happens, not when equipment change
He
happens.
got the first class, but it was bad. It was really bad. But anyways, let's round this up. Guys, if you want to know more about all things for a business and great experiences that you can have, we have a dedicated channel for business class in the Great Indian Lounge, which is our Discord server. And the way to get access to that Discord server is by purchasing our YouTube membership, which has 2 levels. The first level is called Boarding Pass. The second one is called Lounge Access. What Boarding Pass gives you, it gives you access to podcasts like these 2 days before the episode goes live to pretty much anybody and everybody in the world. We also do dedicated live streams where I do 1 live stream a month exclusively only for Boarding Pass members. But then if you go to Lounge Access and purchase that, that's an upgrade from Boarding Pass where we have member only videos. you will get everything that you get in boarding pass, but then you'll also get access to the Great Indian Lounge, which is our Discord community, where you can chat about all these, nerd out, and there's some amazing conversations happening already. As of today, when we are recording it, we have more than 450 people in that Discord community where there's amazing conversation happening, different channel-wise. So that's like a quick plug-in on the Great Indian Lounge. And with that, let's bring this to a wrap. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you Dhimant, Ameya, Sid. Thanks Sid for coming up. When Sid came up, he came up like this. I love the way he walked in. He came up with his pressed white crisp shirt in a hanger, and then he quickly went and did a quick makeover, and then he joined us. Thanks for coming all the way, man, Sid.
Pleasure is all mine, guys. Always happy to meet you guys. Let's do some pickle. Something apart from
absolutely.
podcasting as well, yeah?
Yeah, all of us enjoy pickle. So karte hain, definitely.
Thanks for having me, guys.
With that, thank you everyone for tuning in. Keep experimenting. Keep chasing those awards. Make those mistakes. It's completely okay. But one day you will arrive and you will enjoy and you'll have a story to tell. So with that, see you from the Great Indian Points and Miles Show.
Flashing bright, we're on the go. Tune in now, there's so much to know. Earning bits, travel dreams we sow. All aboard the Great Indian Points and Miles Show. Zero to hero in the blink of an eye. Fly first class, no need to be shy. Redemption sweet, touching the sky. Award seats booked, let's give it a try. Award seats booked, let the points flow. It's all aboard the Great Indian Points and Miles Show. Unlocking journeys wherever you go. The sky's the limit, feel the travel mojo. Hidden treasures in every flight. Nights in places that feel so right. From deserts to the city lights. Get set, steal those dazzling sights. Miles stack up each passing day. Rewards come back in a million ways. In this game you want to play the Great Indian Adventure, yay! Award seats booked, let the points flow. It's all aboard the Great Indian Points and Miles Show. Unlocking journeys wherever you go. The sky's the limit, feel the travel mojo.